Okay, so the steroid thing, performance enhancing allegations. Some of you actually wanted me to talk about this a long time ago. And I chose not to because it's speculation, until he's caught red handed. And even if you catch him red handed, there'll be some sort of an excuse about, oh, that's not really proof, or, what'll really happen. And I think this is the core of the issue, is that no matter what you find LeBron to be guilty of, there will be an excuse made for it. There will be a justification made for it, especially from LeBron delusional supporters. It, I mean, think about it. Ask yourself this right now. Will it make a difference if, in fact, it's shown that LeBron James has been taking performance enhancing drugs, the equivalent of some that might have been the equivalent of steroids? They're not going to change. Absolutely nothing this guy's ever done. All his failures, all of his stupid comments, the number of lies that he tells to the public and gets busted on, nothing matters. The legacy of LeBron has always been watching somebody not rise to the occasion and then find ways around it. And his fan base has always been there to provide the necessary excuse in order to continue with their illusion. So, again, in this case, there won't be accountability. People won't be like, oh, well, that's cheating. I'm disappointed in him. Or, that's not acceptable, and that's not a role model, and that's not setting a good example. No, it's going to very quickly be, oh, well, other people do it too. So and so has done it. Or, hey, what's the matter with an older person, using an enhancement to try and overcome their age? It's called fucking cheating, and it's not allowed. But again, I'm telling you exactly what is going through the mindset of people who have spent their entire lives trying to convince themselves that someone is better than the eye test that he continuously fails. Anyway, since it's a topic again, I will tell you that back when you were first asking me to look into this, I was reading up on it. And first, there wasn't performance enhancing drug testing. And then when Silver came in, he said that there'd have to be a negotiation with the Players Association and come up with what, they felt comfortable with. And then there's today, in which players are officially subject to being tested, but being subject to testing is different than whether or not they get tested. The NBA remains the most loosely monitored of American professional sports for whatever reason. Take this, for example. A former medical director for the NBA in Congress said that 23 NBA players tested positive for PEDs, and all but three of those results were discarded. 20 out of 23 results for PEDs were discarded. In other words, league staffers have discretion to handle positive tests quietly and as they see fit. Apparently, George Karl has pointed out that it's obvious that NBA players use PEDs. He also points out that the manner of passing tests, if they should be tested, is superior to the tests themselves. So you'd have to want to bust somebody to be able to bust somebody. Let's say that Silver were to announce that there will be an investigation into LeBron James's use. What will that investigation actually look like? Some sort of announcement that we carried out the testing to the highest standards and found no irregularities. End of story. Could you draw a correlation that LeBron is using them? Sure, you could. You could also draw a correlation that most of the guys are using them. On the other hand, most of the guys don't get bigger in old age, particularly with their heads growing the way Barry Bonds' head grew at a late stage in life. So not really consistent on that one. But what we do know is his relationship with LeBron James. Another problem with this allegation is that this MMA fighter didn't say exactly what LeBron is taking. He says, I know what LeBron is taking. We have the same drug guy, but it's kind of left ambiguous because, again, he might be taking a performance enhancer, but it might be under the umbrella of the legal ones. And let's be clear, there are a lot of different performance enhancing drugs out there. There are some things that are currently legal that won't be legal at some point. So if it turns out that LeBron is taking those, then do we drop the whole thing? I guarantee you, he's, I mean, there's no secret about him investing in his body, yet somehow he still can't keep from being hurt or faking injury or whatever is happening with that glass bitch. So really, really what we're talking about is professional athletes putting things in their bodies that are technically legal that you and I simply can't access or afford to take. So is that cheating or is that not cheating? And you know what this actually makes me think about? This makes me think about the absolute garbage that pro athletes put in their bodies back in the old days when they managed to play all 82 games of the season and play through injuries and actually act like warriors and people that you could be inspired by. I mean, you saw the endorsements and you saw Michael Jordan's endorsements of McDonald's and stuff like that. And McDonald's is absolute complete trash. Like that's poison. If I put that in my body today, I would start throwing up. I would have diarrhea within an hour. My body would reject it. And Michael Jordan was putting that in his body in his 30s, in his late 30s, and still performing while, drinking his whiskey, smoking his cigars. Let's not forget this guy apparently didn't need sleep either. So he didn't need proper fuel, he didn't need proper sleep, and he was still outperforming everyone. That's crazy. Like I said, it's not just the endorsements. I've been reading all these books about the old NBA, and it repeatedly refers casually. It's not trying to point it out, but they'll just be like, oh, so and so had just ordered, 24 chicken McNuggets, or they were eating 24 chicken McNuggets on the bus on the way to the game, and talking about the beer in the locker room, talking about the days of cocaine before cocaine. You want to talk about something that's not good for your body, probably cocaine. And I don't know. I guess it's just another reason for an old dude like me to have nostalgia for the old days, knowing that not only were they outperforming today's athletes in terms of durability, at least, but they were doing it while putting poison in their bodies. While today they have their scientists and they have their professional chefs and they have their nutritionists and they have their personal trainers and their private jets and all this crap, and are still hurt more than anyone. By the way, I kind of thought it was interesting what Paul George had to say about load management possibly hurting people, because I sort of had that hypothesis myself a long time ago. I thought about back when I played organized sports, and you would have a coach that worked your freaking ass off. In football, we had two-a-days. We'd be paralyzed with pain by the afternoon from what your muscles went through in the morning, and then you'd have to go back for the next practice. And you know how you got through that? Your body adjusted. Your body became accustomed to that sort of treatment, and therefore it can respond when you're subjecting your body to that. You went through several days of pain, maybe a week of pain, especially if you hadn't been training prior to the first day of practice. And the only way you got over that pain was by making that workout part of daily life. And then your body adjusted. And if we had taken days off. Shit, I can remember if we had a 3 day and you came back, and you weren't working out on your own, then it was hard again. Can you imagine if you took a week off regularly and then went back to those types of workouts? Well, you'd be right back to being sore and having to go through that adjustment period again. Then you take away the resilience of youth, the fact that your body can actually handle you going from being lazy to extreme workouts to lazy to extreme workouts. Well, you can't do that once you're getting older. If you're taking all these days off and then suddenly throwing yourself right back into battle, compared to what I just described, yeah, it actually kind of makes sense to get hurt. In order to compete on a level where your body is taking abuse, your body needs to be in abuse taking mode, not being, oh, it's time to relax and recover for a while mode, and then throw them right back into the fire anyway. Whatever. Angry old hoops here is just blabbering. I'll talk to you next time.